Yeah, so language, as I mentioned, today's topic is philosophy of language. So language is more than just words, right? It's a tool that helps shape our thoughts. It influences our culture and it defines how we see our reality. So I have a question for you guys. Feel free to take initiative. Have you ever noticed how some concepts they feel unexplainable in certain languages, but they're easy in others? And if it's true, then why do you think that happens? Yeah, Gaurav, please go ahead.
Language is a means of communication, right? But language have certain words, or it is consist of words. Like in Hindi, there is some words. In English, there is a words. But this
Right.
words have limitations, right? And our
Hmm.
emotions and feeling does not have any kind of limitation. They can flow any direction. So words since have a limitation, and this feeling does not have limitation. There is a unbalance. As a result, you cannot tell what you express it out.
All right. Thank you for that, Gaurav. Yes, Raghuveer.
So we feel like this, like if a particular concept that we are trying to express, but in a particular language, we are not able to express it, like in English mostly, we switch to another language, mostly Hindi, that we are comfortable with. Why exactly is that? Because I feel that language is a medium to express our feelings.
Yes.
And that's how if a particular complex concept is involved, so we will tend to switch to that language which we are comfortable in expressing ourselves. So that's my answer.
All right. Yes, Rizwan.
In my opinion, I think it is about the consecutive entropy. Why? Because by having this, the person will be leads to the messy thoughts. So that's why he will be not expressing the things in clear way. So
Hmm.
that's my regard.
Absolutely. Beautiful point, Rizwan. Thank you so much. Yes, Sagnik.
Yeah, I guess others summed it up pretty well. So I just wanted to add something that the languages that we speak today have been developed since hundreds of years, and it is basically a very situational aspect. So language is very much dependent on the geography, culture, and the people that speak it, across generations. So what kind of situations they faced, that led them to make changes in a particular language. So that ultimately impacts on what kind of things exist and what kind of things can be expressed now in this current present state in a language. And even the way we speak the language, people after, let's say, hundreds of years after us, they will speak in a different way the same language only. So it is
Yes.
totally, it's like a river. It changes with time always. It never stays the same.
Yes, so beautiful points, guys. It is very true. Cognitive entropy, as I believe Rizwan brought up, and at the same time, Sagnik brought up historical and social influences that have the influences that those have on the way we perceive language. So beautiful points, guys. So yeah, this definitely does influence how we perceive language and why the meanings of something might change when said in a certain language versus the other language. So I would like to touch on this concept of cognitive entropy. So you can understand cognitive entropy as like mental chaos almost, that from too much randomness or detail. Suppose you're trying to think of an event, high chances you are not going to think of it in a very organized manner. So if you think about any event that you experienced and try to describe it in detail, do you think, again, I'll take a few responses only due to time constraints, but do you think language will help reduce that confusion? Can we agree? Can we have a consensus that, okay, we all agree that language helps organize our thoughts and it will reduce cognitive entropy. Just touching on another point is that we also social, as Sagnik mentioned, social and historical contexts. So, if I give you a sentence that no nation can rise to the height of glory unless your women rise side by with you, right? So again, is the if this was told in Hindi versus if this was told in English, could we give it some thought? Would the meanings change even slightly, right? And what does that tell us about language? How do we interpret meanings across various social contexts? How do we interpret meanings across various states of minds, almost even, right? So, guys, today's LDI is about philosophy of language, and philosophy assumes that language is a tool for thinking. But the question I want to pose for you guys today is it also a limiter? So, language has certain black boxes that there are certain concepts that we take for granted in language because they are, because, like we discussed, there's factors like entropy and there's cognitive social factors, historical factors. We are in a beautiful cultural mess when it comes to language, right? So, for example, love, right? Love could mean family love today in English. It could mean romantic love. It could mean the love that you have for your friend. But back in ancient Greece, love was also eros, which is romantic love. Love was philia. Love was storge. Love was agape. We had four different kinds of words for the same concept. So this brings us to yet another question for you guys to think upon: that have we taken language for granted, and how are we using that concept to work our way through language today? All right. So I'm closing the introduction with one question for you guys to pitch on. How does language shape the world that, shape the way we think and understand the world? And or does it hold us back, or does it help us see more? And can we think without language? All right. So I will start taking pitches now.
Rhea,
So, yes.
can you repeat the question?
Sure, Rakesh. So the question is, how does language shape the way we think and understand the world? Does it help us see more, or does it limit us? And can we see the world without language? Of course, you're free to touch on any of the concepts that we discussed during this intro, or even your own. So yeah, we'll take pitches now. Okay, okay. Guys, please pitch. This is directly going on your UBS. Right. 1, 2, 3, 15. I have 15 pitches. I can take 5 more. Anybody wants to pitch? 5 seconds. All right, fine. We'll start with Harish. Harish, over to you for your pitch.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So, in the philosophy of language, I would like to pitch about the intricacies that each language brings with its own, like the gender specific in Hindi for objects, also we give attributes with genders. And at the same time, in Tamil, if I'm trying the same, it's little difficult for me to understand it. So, in a way, it can tell you that the language can shape one's thought and way of thinking with this example. And yes, we do think without the language, but we can't express it in the verbal cues. In non-verbal cues, we do express. So if you want to know about this, please come to me. Thank you.
Thank you for that pitch, Harish. Over to you, Rizwan.
Yes, I do support with the statement that language needs to express our views and tells the about the ideas. So, what if we are facing the problem of cognitive entropy? Then, if it is the problem, then how to win this problem? So, let's see the practical ways to reduce this problem in a practical way. So, if anyone are interested, please join my room. Thank you.
Cool. So if you want to understand how to clear mental chaos, please go to Rizwan's room. Thank you, Rizwan, for that pitch. Over to you, Sandeep.
Okay, so hello everyone. I would be talking about how words or language are empty, I would say, without the emphasis on the abstract emotions that humans have. So, this is what I would be talking about.
Thank you, Sandeep. That is insightful. I'm sure people will have a great time in your room. Over to you, Rakesh.
Yeah, basically, so as my pitch, I say that I I explain my experience like whenever I have an interview and I have to explain something my interviewer, so that time which things I face or which how I messy the, like if I have to answer something and how I am forgot or how I mixed. So basically I want to share my experience and how to reduce it, or as we can't we can't think we can't explain or describe our points without any language or without any word, but we can imagine it. So it is my point.
Thank you for your pitch, Rakesh. Over to you, Dia.
Right. So does language come like does thought comes first or language comes first, or are they both going hand in hand? So in my room we'll answer this along with how we can use conversational intelligence to actually, have language either help us see the world or hold us back when seeing the world.
Thank you for drawing that beautiful parallel there between conversational intelligence and language. And whether, Sanjali, if you don't mind, could you please mute yourself? Yeah. So thank you for your pitch, Dia. Over to you, Janvi.
Okay, I'll be talking about what if language wasn't just a tool for expression, but the silent architect shaping the very fabric of our reality.
Very interesting, Janvi. Thank you. Over to you, Gayatri.
Yes, so in my room, I would be talking about how the structure given by language influence how we think, how we interpret the world, or how we perceive world. And there are some studies and research done for this topic, and we would be discussing that as well.
Thank you for your pitch, Gayatri. Over to you, Pratibha.
Yeah, so there's a concept called lexicon in language, which in simple words mean vocabulary. So somebody said that we switch to the language we are more comfortable in. So is it about the comfort or is it about the vocabulary? So we'll discuss that in my
Thank
room.
you for introducing a new concept to our audience here, Pratibha. I'm sure it will be insightful. Over to you, Dinesh.
Basically, we will be discussing in our room like what's the importance of grammar in the in conversations that we usually do, and how to overcome the confusion between the conversations what we do, the context confusion. So anyone is interested, you can join my room.
Yeah, so if you want to understand grammar better, guys, everybody who doesn't like grammar, please go to Dinesh's room. Over to you, Samiksha.
Yeah. So in my room, I want to talk about. So we all know how important language is, right? So I want to talk in my room about how we could express ourselves without language and how difficult that would be, so that we really understand how important language is.
Thank you for that beautiful pitch, Samiksha. Over to you, Jaya.
Yeah, basically, we all know that language is a medium of communication, right? So even blind people also have a language called Braille script. So through that they communicate. So in my room, we'll be basically talking about how to overcome the limitation of communicating the language. So yeah, this is what we are going to discuss in my room.
Thank you for your pitch, Jaya. Over to you, Surya.
In my room, I will be discuss about the power of thoughts, the power of language that we use for ourselves, and I will also include the concept of called confirmation bias and negativity bias. So yeah, I will be talking about that in my room.
Thank you for your pitch, Surya. Over to you, Paridi.
So I would be talking about how I don't think that language actually limits us in our ability to express things. Rather, it's our vocabulary, or rather how we articulate our words, that limits us. So I would be talking about the importance of the right vocabulary and understanding how to articulate your ideas and thoughts in the best way possible.
Beautiful perspective on articulation. Thank you for that, Paridi. Over to you, Vinay.
I want to think about like yeah, how language allow us to think more and how language barriers stop us from the thinking. And to discuss about that, like is language, if we think without a language or not.
Okay, so if you want to understand how to think without languages, I think Vinay can help you understand
Yeah,
that.
we can
Thank you
do.
for that, Vinay. Over to you, Gaurav.
So in my room, we are trying to understand. See, permutation and combination of words create some meaning to whatever we are saying. And that is what actually language is. But proper communication of these words create the desired output. That is what the main purpose of language is, to get the outcome from whatever we are trying to say. So in my room, we can discuss the way we can combine the words so that we can get the desired output.
Thank you for your pitch, Gaurav. Over to you, Sagnik.
Yeah, so when we see around the world, we understand that languages are essentially a means of communication, right? As humans, we have been blessed with vocal cords, so that's why we can speak languages, and we have been blessed with hands, so we can write languages. So languages have essentially two parts: the syntax and the semantics. Semantics is something that is universal. Bats can use echolocation to communicate the semantics with each other in their own way. That's similarly, humans can use their voice to explain the semantics, but when we go to writing, that's when we define the syntax. So in my room, I will be discussing about how humans have essentially evolved the way they write languages and evolved the way they write the syntax of the languages to explain the semantics in many different ways, and even create new branches. It is also tied to the way ultimately, like nowadays we are delving into AI, right? So ultimately, when ultimate conclusion of AI is to like reach artificial consciousness, when AIs can also be conscious and they can think independently. So the only difference in there is about understanding the semantics, right? So that's what I will be discussing in my.
Semantics, AI, history. We touched a lot with that, Sagnik. So thank you for that very interesting pitch. I guess I will be visiting your room for sure. Over to you, Raghuveer.
I believe that we give the meaning to a particular word ourselves. So in order to like, as we have seen across the time, like when sign languages was used to express our feelings, and from Latin, English has been carved out, and same from Sanskrit, Hindi is carved out. So, and nowadays we are using slangs like skibidi and so on to express our feelings, right? So in my breakout room, we will discuss about what are the particular challenges that we are now are facing in order to express our feelings more profoundly.
Okay. If you want to explore slangs and how they're affecting the current generation, I think Raghuveer is your man. Over to you, Manu.
Yeah, my pitch is simple. Can the way we think be shaped by the language we speak? How do the words we use influence our worldview or a perception? That's what my pitch. If anybody interested, can join my room.
Definitely. Thank you, Manu. We have the last pitch. Over to you, Samitra.
So my pitch would be regarding, since the language is a medium of communication, and understanding the subtext and emotion behind the words would be my pitch. So if you're interested in subtext and emotional part of language, you can join my.
Thank you, everybody, for all of your very, very
Hello.
insightful
Hello.
pitches.
Hello,
Yes.
Saraya. Sorry to
Hi.
interrupt. Can I say something?
Sure, Rakesh, go ahead.
So as you all are observed that my pitch is too much messy. What is the way I explain? So it's too much messy. So I repeat my pitch?
Um, Okay, sure, go ahead. Please
Yeah,
make it.
yeah. Just my pitch is like why language is important and how to reduce messiness, and basically there are too much, or we can say there are large amount of languages, and the main point of language is express feelings. So I want to discuss about it. So if anyone interested, come to my breakout.
Thank you for your pitch, Rakesh. Is Shreya here? Shreya Paridhi, can we open the
Yes,
breakout rooms?
yes, it's open.
It's open. Guys, think all of you can go to your respective breakout rooms.